Make a life for myself. 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 Make a life for myself.
Hey, folks, welcome back to The Pulse. It's an early morning stream. Oh, my gosh. It's so great. 7 a.m. Central Texas time, folks. I'm a little bit stuffy, cloudy this morning. I hope you're doing exceptionally well. We got so many folks across the world in this stream. We've been working on this for a year. I'm super excited to share with you. But I'm thankful. I'm super, super thankful. And at the end of that stream, you saw Texan. You know what? That's going to be changed to Ophir, right? We're gonna have Ophir streams like crazy. It's going to be amazing. But today, this is the official launch stream, and it's totally my honor because this to me, it's so meaningful because this is the first of many communities that we will tokenize. And this idea of tokenizing communities is so powerful. It is so powerful. And so I'm just super thankful that you're here. And you're going to get to meet the founder of Ophir. And we're going to get to hear the story. This is going to be epic, epic stream. You're going to see everything. We've got everything in line. And that's the coolest thing about our team. And credit goes to Brandon from Rags to Riches, insisting on everything being done ahead of time. And that's what we've done. We got a great team, great devs, just great people. And I'm going to tell you what, the folks on the ground, and John is a special guy. I want you to know him. I want you to be encouraged, and I want you to see what's happening because I think it is supernatural. Folks, welcome back to The Pulse, the founder of ophircrypto.com. What's up, John?
What's up, brother? So good to be here.
Man, it's so
Finally,
I know.
finally, my gosh. It's
Finally, it's been
crazy.
a whole year, man. So why don't we
Yeah.
tell folks, why don't we just from your perspective, how we met and how this kind of happened and what that journey has been like for you? Because this is for people to have context of, this isn't just, hey man, let's get a cryptocurrency
Yeah.
together. There's something
Yeah.
more here. There in the name, in the location, in your
Yeah.
story, and how all these things merge together. Can you kind of encapsulate that for us?
It's a long story. There's
Try.
so much that's happened, but so I guess it really all started um when I went through this very, very rough I've always been very passionate about the truth,
Yeah.
right? And for advocating for people. And I went through this period of um, just how the Lord usually reveals Himself and His truth even through the most difficult times. And I went through such a time while I was with a family business, and at the same time the pandemic hit, and and I started like the Lord started opening my eyes to things. Right, one of the first things that became very, very clear to me was that there is an abundance out there.
Yeah.
This was through dabbling into there's a book called Exponential Organizations by a guy named Salim Ismail. And while I was with the family business, I was um, yeah, just reaching out to people who I thought were the best in the world at what they did, and just whatever I could find out there that I could apply, right. And this was one of the guys. This was one of the consultancy firms that I found, and they talk about how all of these technologies, right, they're advancing at an exponential rate. So whether it's AI or the Internet of Things or virtual reality, right, and then and blockchain was something they touched on as well. But when you consider the synergy of these technologies,
Yeah.
then I mean the advancement is just out of this world, right? And so that kind of opened my eyes, and it was clear to me that immediately I was taken to the scriptures, right, and how we serve an abundant God, and as believers, um, there's no room for having this like scarcity kind of a mindset, because we serve a God who created the entire world with His words,
Yeah.
right? I mean, He sustains everything by the power of His word. And so I went on this journey of like my faith started to increase. I started to reach out, right? I started to see the lack and the I guess that scarcity kind of mindset,
Yeah.
right, around me, and it was suffocating me. And I started to pray, and I went through a period of praying like more than I had ever. I mean, like hours upon hours with my face on the floor, because of the difficulties and frustrations I was going through. But it was through that the Lord started to build my faith and started to show me that these things um, that that He was revealing. I mean, that this stuff could happen, right? This wasn't just out there. Like I could see this, I could experience this,
Mhm.
and then the pandemic hit, and at the climax of the pandemic, I was very active trying to help in remote areas and poorer areas, because it was really the poor who were mostly affected, right, during the lockdowns. And that was where I met um, Chairman Roy, right, the chairman of our official partner, Gem Effect. But at that time, there was no Ophir, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
Um, and but my eyes were open to like what, because he was doing so much to help many of these churches, like the elderly, and I mean they were going around. He and his team were going around giving goods, early treatment, and whatever else, um, and then I saw like the condition of some of these churches, right? It's weird because I've lived in the Philippines for most of my life, right? And I hear it all the time. The challenges that people are going through here, how so many are below poverty line and whatever. But to actually go there
Yeah.
and to actually see it and to experience how, some of these churches, like literally no roofs, or like some churches as big as this room that I'm in. We're praying for like, walls, because like, they can't worship because rain like comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of stuff, right? And seeing that firsthand, then it just really stirred up um this this longing to find a solution, right? And so through all that, I learned about crypto, right? I made the decision to leave the family business completely, to just find solutions, and crypto was one of the things I came across, and it became very, very clear to me that this is where I needed to focus, right? Completely. That
Yeah.
blockchain would provide a solution like nothing else out there. And then, I consider myself a researcher, and so I yeah, I just really dug in deep, and eventually landed on Richard Hart, landed on your content, right? And I was like, man, I mean, there was no one else who was talking the way that you were in the crypto space, and it just all really resonated with me, right? The things that you
Yeah.
were sharing, and how you were about, um, how can we be the best stewards of what's coming, and you're talking about unlocking global generosity, and which is so different from the get mine
Yeah.
kind of, um, typical theme that runs across,
Right.
right, most crypto influencers and stuff. And so yeah, so I, yeah, reached out to you, and you were kind enough to respond, and then yeah, we just really hit it off, and that's where it all began,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. About a year
That
ago,
was
wasn't it?
and that was exactly that was like almost a year ago to the day. I was looking through the Compassion Cartel, right,
Yeah.
which is where
Yeah.
I first reached out, and I think it was like March 1st or something
Yeah.
last year, somewhere thereabouts.
Wow. Hey, I want to give people this is so cool, and we're setting the stage for what we're going to tell you about. There are a number of people that are just like, tell me the crypto stuff. And here's the thing, we'll get to it, but I think it's really important for you to understand context because you know as well as I do that everything is a narrative and a story. And people, when you tokenize communities, you have to recognize there are places where there is trust. And let's say you're somebody in crypto and you're watching this and you're like, I don't know anybody in the Philippines. I don't know anything. Just tell me about the project. Here's the thing you need to recognize what drives value in crypto is communities of trust. And you need to understand what those communities of trust are all about, what their philosophy is, why they are what they are, what's driving them. Because when you're looking at betting on horses in crypto, right, if you just keep it as simple as investment, you need to recognize, hold on a second, does this project have legs? And what does legs mean in crypto? It means the ability to sustainably grow a community, period. And so, one of the things, if you're thoughtful and not a total degen, you will see that this is a special thing that's happening. So, I'll say that first. But second, I want to say this. You talked about words. And so, what's really interesting about this story, it's a story about your heart, it's a story about the heart of a nation, it's also the story about knitting our hearts together because you and I have a story that's come together in all this personally, and then how each person's heart fits into this story. Because this isn't a manipulating story, this is one of actual wholeness. And one of the things it says in John 10:10 is it talks about this idea that there's one who's prowling around looking to devour us. But what God said is, I came so that you would have life and have it to its full. And what does it mean to have a full life and to live fully? It means that we have an abundance, pressed down, overflowing. So here's what I want to share with you. To me, the name Ophir is so significant. And it is for me in my whole journey is really the gold. And where is the gold? Will you talk about the origins of the name Ophir and why this is called, Ophir token or Ophir crypto?
Absolutely. So Ophir is a real place, right? It's found in the Bible. It's found in many ancient texts. It was the place that Solomon sourced the very best gold from in the ancient world. So, it's a symbol of abundance, of prosperity. In fact, a lot of people believe that the Philippines is modern day Ophir. Like there are legit researchers who there are whole entire movements that
Yeah.
are built on that, and so it resonates with both Christian Filipinos actually.
Yeah.
Um, and so this whole idea of Ophir and like a land of gold, right? The way that I see it, right? Obviously, it's a symbol of abundance and prosperity, which is tied to which ties very well into blockchain and
Yeah.
spreading the wealth and um, but even more than that, like so our tagline is mining hearts of gold, right? And these hearts of gold, right? The way that we see it, so we're given that we are primarily focused on allocating these tokens to churches and the people of God and people with hearts that are bent on serving others and on being generous, right? The real gold of Ophir, which and the scriptures talk about this over and over again, like what is more precious than gold in the scriptures, right? It's the word. It's basically a lifestyle lived according to Christ's principles. And you know what comes to mind, Matt, is in John 17, I think it's John 17, the high priestly prayer, right? Like what is it that Jesus prayed for? And this was like right before basically he went to the cross, so very very important moment, right? And the only time, I hope I'm not wrong about this, but you know that Jesus prayed for an extended portion of time that's captured in the scriptures. And what does he pray for? He prays for unity. He prays for unity, right? And so, what is the real goal of a fear? But it is that unity. It is that community. It is loving others as you would love yourself. It is being concerned with others' needs just in the same manner that you're concerned for your own. And so, ultimately, that's what we want to bring about. And you're talking about how, yeah, I see. I mean, yes, this is a cryptocurrency, but it's so much more. Like what's
Yeah.
happening now. This is a movement.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, right? The technology is part of it,
Yeah.
and it's a tool that's being used, and it's a powerful tool. But at
Right.
the end of the day, what's happening here is unity um, among people who are passionate about these same principles.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for me, the inspiration and Ophir, it's amazing how when something resonates with you, it fits with your own story too, right? You find yourself in the story as well. And so when you talk about this idea of, the land of Ophir, right? And a lot of the evidence, I've read a lot of the scholarly stuff about the Philippines being this actual place. And I'm really interested in, gold mining and all that. And it's amazing actually how much gold is in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's really interesting, and I think this is a metaphor for all of this to understand it is, by the sweat of our brow, we would chip through rocks to find these things that God had placed, right? The origin of gold, what is it? Well, it doesn't tarnish, you can't eat it. It's scarce, but it's provided in abundance across the world in certain places, and especially here in, the Philippines, right? So in the Philippines, you have this gold, and I've been watching. The Filipino people are really amazing because you look into, like, for example, Africa, and you see all of the labor that's happening, and it seems so destructive and everything. And I've watched a number of things from people in very remote parts of the Philippines where the family, it's kind of providing for the family. But what's amazing about it is there's something that's happening. God's way is different than man's way, right? And he provides for us, and we till the soil and we plant the seed, or we chip away at the rock to find the gold and its provision. But it always seems like we go to a heap of 50 measures, and there's only 20, right? We go to a wine vat, and it's only, we're trying to draw a certain amount off, and we can only get a portion. And what's interesting about this is that this is like what I would consider to be in the scriptures as a double portion. When you understand God's ways, you recognize that, hold on, it's counterintuitive. And what I love about this story is that the idea that fiat currency, folks, is by decree. When they decided to pull, at least at Bretton Woods, 1971 and 72, to pull off the United States, at least, off of the gold standard, what happened is that we essentially, as people, agreed, and it's kind of a forced agreement that we're born into. We're like, well, this is the currency that we use in this area. And so in the United States, we use the dollar. In Philippines, we use a different currency. In Australia, you use a different currency. So we agree to this fiat and this agreement that we have together. And what is amazing about this is that's the same thing we're doing here. And if you think about the implications of tokenizing communities of people that have trust, essentially what you're doing is you're mining gold in the hearts of men and women. And in that agreement does not require pickaxes and shovels. It does not require the effort that you would think to till the ground. It is an agreement. And you say, hold on, wow, this seems easier. Well, yes, because God is a God of abundance. And if you think about this idea that the hardest thing is that if there's one who's prowling around to keep us from living a life that's full and abundant, what ends up happening is it trying to disunify, trying to distract, trying to pull us apart. And so, what is amazing about all this stuff, and I just want to kind of put an exclamation point on this, is the gold of Ophir is in the hearts of everyone, not just people in the Philippines. But as you lead this, John, and what I'm so impressed by you and your team and just Filipino people in general, it's like the nicest people I've ever met, is this idea that we're going to advocate for others, we're going to be inclusive of other people, we're going to welcome people into this. And what I love about this from a macro perspective is if you're somebody that's outside of the Philippines, you're investing in the people, and not just the people at the top, actually the people that are the most decentralized. And so John is going into the remote parts of churches and actually giving them a gift of an endowment of staked tokens, not so they can dump on the market and get something now. This is to invest in. Tell us what it's like when you go to these churches and you tell them what you're going to be doing with Ophir crypto.
Uh, you know, just just being there, this is one of the things that it's just really blown my mind, because the types of churches that we've been visiting, because that's been my life, right? Pretty much like these last couple of months, we're just going off through the relationships that Pastor Roy has with all of these organizations, to all of these churches, making presentations, meeting with them, seeing how they're doing, seeing what their needs are. And many of these churches, just are being there, has they feel so overwhelmed and so blessed, just that somebody is paying attention. Like, that's the kind of and the stories that you hear of. I mean, most of these people have given up like good paying jobs. Many are OFWs and whatever, and they've given that OFWs stand for overseas Filipino workers. um, and they've given that up to be able to serve, to be able to do Bible studies in these areas, to be able um, to support communities, and the vulnerable. And but I mean, the vast majority of them they're independent. They don't get any support. They live off. I mean, I've said this on your stream before. Like, I've heard this from a number of churches. They get like bananas and fruit for tithes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of um, atmosphere that they. And so the fact that people are actually going to them to show support, that in and of itself,
Yeah.
right, has already blessed them so much. And then when you share, right, and this is the challenge here, right? I mean, these are all no coin, like no coiners, as
Oh,
in
of course. Of
like
course.
the epitome of
Yeah.
right. And so it's going to be a process, right? And we're talking about literally thousands of churches. Just one organization we're working with, Cavite for Jesus movement, has over 3,000 churches, right? That's just one organization. So um it's going to be a challenge, but at the same time, like, when it clicks,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
with the people who are starting to get it. I mean, words
Yeah.
can't describe, dude. I mean, like, imagine all your life, your Christian life, your pastoral life, or whatever, right? Just basically, like, you hear the stories over and over again of them wanting to give up at certain points, of them um just telling the Lord that they can't do it anymore for lack of it's usually for lack of resources.
Yeah.
That's usually the reason. um and so then to hear all of a sudden, and to have the faith to believe that God has answered their prayer, and there is and God has come through. And when they learn about Ophir, when they learn about the education that we're going to give them about cryptocurrency, about blockchain, about all of these things that are accessible to them, right? That you just
Yeah.
need the knowledge nowadays.
Yep.
This stuff is at their fingertips. I mean, AI, Chat GPT, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it, and so it's just a matter of their of their being taught, being
Yep.
open to learning this stuff. And so I'm convinced, Matt, that um like my dream is to have these folks at the forefront, right,
Yep.
of these technologies, of through Ophir, but of the blockchain, artificial intelligence, all this stuff, like that's that. And it's a big dream, right? But
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome, man. It is so awesome. Well, let's transition to. There's a number of people that have come to this stream for a lot of different reasons, and I want to, just officially say, because this is a launch stream for Ophir, and the official site for Ophir Crypto is ophircrypto.com. And so we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be talking about what does it mean to launch right now, what is a donation phase. We're going to talk about all of that kind of stuff. But just to recap what we've just talked about for everyone that's here. So we as a team, Brandon and myself are kind of front guys for it, but there's a whole team of people across the world. You've got a team of people in the Philippines and across the world that love what you're doing. We have a team that's encouraging and helping you as well, providing resources. But what we've done is we've said, hey, we're going to provide a contract, we're going to provide development services, and we're going to serve you to be able to enable this to happen. And so what I would encourage you folks is the reason we tell this heart story at the beginning is to understand we have a leader and a founder of John advocating for a group of people within the Philippines that to me represents the single largest organization in the world. Because you could go anywhere in the world, remote places, you won't find a grocery store and you won't find a post office, but you'll find a church. And that entity in and of itself, of serving that entity, we fundamentally believe, and I mean like us collectively, that the way in which you unlock resources by giving, okay, not by taking, but by giving. And so what John is doing is literally going in and giving gifts. Now, here's the thing. In my world of the nonprofit space and what we're doing with Gem Effect and this organization that's serving more than 3,000 churches is that we're saying, all right, there's a group of people we're advocating for, but in that we're essentially saying we want to leverage community and the unity that comes from crypto and decentralized finance to lift a whole group of people up together. That includes those that you may be a Western person with tons of money. You're lifting up all of us together in DeFi. And this is something that governments cannot do. They don't understand this counterintuitive idea of unification. And this is at the core of the Christian faith is this idea of coming together, committing oneself to each other, and serving one another. That is the essence of DeFi and what makes it work. That's the miracle of it. We understand that. And so Texan was number one. Number two is Ophir. We've got several more in the hopper. We're going to bring it together with a DEX called Freedom Swap. We're going to have Unifier as an incentive token. This is
That's
an
amazing.
ecosystem, and this is number two. They're using this contract, and you're going to see very similar things to Texan as we talk about this. But this is the launch of the donation phase, which will go for at least 60 days. And so I want to pull that up and I want to walk through the details. So will you tell folks what can happen today if they go to ophircrypto.com?
Yeah, so we're beginning the donation phase, meaning we will be receiving, we will be essentially fundraising for our main partner, Gem Effect, right? So so you will be able to donate. There are six cryptocurrencies that we're accepting, which are USDT, USDC, Ethereum, Hex, Texan, and SLP.
Yep.
And so there's a wallet address on the website. Make sure that you get the wallet address from one of our official. Either the best place is the website, but it'll be on our socials and GemFX website as well. And then yeah, you can donate to this wallet address, and those who donate will receive zero value Ophir tokens at a 10,000 token to $1 ratio.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so all of the donations will go to our partner Gem Effect for their activities, which include everything from feeding programs to building church building programs, and of course this this initiative to educate and to allocate these tokens to thousands of churches. That's gonna, that's gonna take resources. It's gonna take teams being built, and so yeah, so that's essentially where the funds are going.
Okay. And so one of the things you'll see, and actually I just recognized that we don't have it in this highlighted section, is ETH. Okay. So USDC, USDT, Hex, SLP, which we're going to talk about SLP with Axie Infinity and what people need to know
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
amazing stuff that's going on in the Philippines, but
yeah.
also Texan. So these are the approved ones. And so there will be an addition. So Ethereum will be included in this list. And actually at
Right.
this, at this moment, I was just literally about to um, send that over. So this is literally the beginning of this process. So tell folks again, donation phase is going to an organization, and this is really important, folks. This is something that was inspired first and foremost. It was inspired um, by Richard Hart. And Richard did the Sens Foundation. And this was really what inspired me was, wow, you can raise $27 million in like 19 days. That's amazing. It's a miracle. But what's happening is when you advocate for an organization and 100% of the money goes to them, what happens in that is you're not, it's clear to people what a donation is, right? A donation is a gift. And so the loyalty points that would be given at 10,000 to 1 is a free airdrop. So it's really how we do token allocation and how we stay out of the money, because that's a really important thing for people to note is that, sacrifices, you're giving money to like John. This is
Yeah,
not a
for the
sacrifice.
founders and the
This is
developers.
actually, yes, this is actually a donation to Gem Effect. You can learn more about them right at the bottom of this page. You can see that's up here. It says the Gem Effect link. You can learn about them. I'd encourage you to do that. But this is the organization, and over the next series of days and months, we're going to have different people from the Philippines on our channel. I know there's channels, Brandon, for example. Folks are going to want to interview you, John, and it's super super exciting.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's and I just need to say thank you so much. I just need to, mention again to your audience, I mean, just the amazing support that you, Brandon, the rest of the Texan team have given. David Lee, and the rest of these guys, Steve, Roberts. I mean, yeah, your whole massive team that has really, without whom our guys would not have been able to do this. And I love the synergy that's been happening and how this is just like you've said. I mean, we're from all over the world, and yet, it's the momentum that's being gained and the camaraderie that's coming about. And this is just momentum that's going to be gained, right? It's going to
Yep.
snowball as we move on to the next project and the next project and the next project. I mean, yeah, absolutely amazing, man.
Well, let's talk about tokenomics and share with folks about the Ophir token itself. And so
Sure.
we're utilizing the endowment token contract that we've developed. And that's the whole point of why we developed it, is that this would be a way in which people can endow their future by creating essentially native staking within an endowment function. And so, just so you guys know, an endowment is where you lock up principal to earn interest, but you have the ability to scrape your interest at any time. And so, the
Mhm.
same dynamics of Texan are here in Ophir, but there are some differences. And do you want to kind of articulate, what are the tokenomics of
Yeah,
the Ophir
sure.
token?
Yeah, and I mean, I know you've gone over this many times, but I mean, basically, right? It's so you have 100 trillion tokens max supply, right? Fixed supply. You will have 96 trillion of that can only be accessible through staking, right? That's locked in the
Yeah.
smart contract. And this is one thing that I don't think you've emphasized this very much to one of the changes that you may not have emphasized so much for your audience about how there is actually no origin address,
Right.
right?
That's right.
Which is a later development that is true of Texan, right?
Yep.
But that is amazing. It actually came up in one of our during these presentations to these churches. Once in a while, you have someone who will really surprise you and who be really knowledgeable about stuff, and so this came up in our discussion, and they were amazed, right, when I shared, because they were asking about security and whatever else,
Yeah.
and we're going into the quantum age, and people being able to will people be able to hack the OA or whatever, and so the fact that now there is no OA, that actually that 96 trillion is locked in the smart contract through what is it, through a variable, is how you described it,
Yeah.
right?
So instead of a wallet, so in a typical OA scenario, there would be a wallet that would hold basically the tokens used for rewards. But this was actually because of the Hexagon community and the Pulse Police folks and feedback we got when we started this was they said, hey, what if there is something in the future where, AI and all of these things you can hack these wallets, or what if somebody gets into it? It's the same thing that is the concern with OA and Hex is that no, it does not exist. You're actually minting your rewards. So the 100 trillion, if you look at why do we have such a big supply? Well, the supply is locked in the contract in this variable, and the only way you get it is by staking. So it really isn't in circulating supply, it's potential supply. And so you go in, and when you decide how long you want to stake, what ends up happening is you get allocated your portion of that supply from the beginning, and it's reserved for you. But if you don't serve out the time, you can't mint it back. So just very much actually like hacks is that you are burning your tokens when you stake, and that when you remint your rewards when you end stake or you scrape. And so this is it's really actually simplifying the process, but you're right. There's no OA, no one has keys. You only can do it through the mechanism of staking.
Yeah, and that those principles, right? No admin keys, it being a finished product. I mean, it excites me to no end that all of these no coiners are going to come in to crypto, learning all of these principles, right? To begin with, I mean, they're gonna get started right, and that really
Yeah.
really excites me. So yeah, so no admin keys. It's gonna be a completely finished product, immutable code, security audit by Certic.
Yep.
And then as for the staking, so the way the rewards, I mean the percentages, right? So just like with Texan, it's a 22-year maximum stake length with a base rate for the rewards of 5%. If you lock up for those 22 years, then that yield curve can go all the way up to 236% at the last year. It averages out to 87%
Yep.
annually. And so the endowment function allows you to withdraw those rewards whenever you wish without penalty. The only thing that happens is that yield curve, right, the interest rate goes back down to the base rate whenever you withdraw. So let's say you're at year 3 and your rewards rate or your interest rate has gone up to, I don't know, up 7-8% or whatever, right? If you were to withdraw your interest at that point in time, then you would start over from 5%, essentially, is how it would work.
Yep. Exactly. Awesome. Well, I want to also now talk about, just recommendations for folks. So ophircrypto.com. So I'm going to put this back up here. Here's the thing. In DeFi, the beauty of DeFi is, it's basically choose your own adventure and enter at your own risk, meaning you have to do your own research. The cool thing about things is this is complete, and it's complete in this way. If you want to use the D app on the Pulse Chain testnet, you can swap your test pulse, for example, for Ophir. It is live on the testnet of Pulse Chain, and so the whole function. This isn't just the website. This is the website, the D app up on testnet. The only caveat right now is that because the changes to the contract are pretty much the name is changing, the functionality and everything is the same as Texan, is that we're going to actually be paying for an updated standalone audit from CERTIC on Ophir itself, even though very, very little has changed. That is actually in the works. And so what you'll see right now, audit wise, is the contract of Texan, but there will be an additional audit, which is really cool on top of that for Ophir. And so that's coming. But right now, everything is live. You have the ability to donate to GemEffect organization to receive loyalty points that will be token distribution. And I just recommend, here's the thing, we're putting this information out there. Do with it what you will. Review the website, read the white paper, get into the Telegram. Will you tell folks about where they can find you on Telegram?
So all of our handles are Ophir Crypto. So Telegram, it's Ophir Crypto. Facebook's a big one because in the Philippines, like everybody's on Facebook, right? So Facebook is Ophir Crypto. Twitter is Ophir Crypto. Yeah, it should be. Or yeah, our Twitter was suspended recently, so it got hacked. So we're trying to get that back. We'll see. It may be like Ophir_crypto if we're not able to get it back, right?
Okay.
And yeah, then obviously the main website, which is ophircrypto.com.
Okay. And if people want to get a hold of you, obviously I think coming into the chat is the key into Telegram, but you're also streaming as well. You've got your own channel. You're going to be sharing about Ophir and the things that you're doing and interviewing people. Tell us about your channel.
So I'll be streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and it's Firestarter88. I just started streaming and I've started doing it pretty regularly. So yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of me. It's awesome. Pretty cool, man. I mean, I was really. It took me a while to get started. I was really freaked out about it, but once you get into it, it's like I was surprisingly more comfortable than I thought that I would be. And you know, it's really weird as well. I'm actually very comfortable speaking in Tagalog, Filipino.
Oh, nice.
Which came to me as a real surprise as well. I'm not saying I do it well. I'm just saying I'm comfortable doing it.
So let me ask you to do this. I have a surprise for you. But before you do, will you share? Well, no, let's do this first. David Lee is in the chat. David Lee's been a huge help and a big support to you and your team, and he loves you guys so much. Yeah. And he's so wonderful. This is the Telegram link. If you guys want to join, please join Ophir Crypto. Encourage them, ask questions, be kind. But a special thanks to David Lee. Did you know that he traveled 7.5 hours to come to my dad's funeral? I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not.
What an amazing guy. What an amazing guy. But here's what I want.
Jordan Peterson knows that.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So I have a surprise for you, John.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Our guest that's going to come in to encourage you.
No,
He's not internationally known, but he's been known to rock the microphone. He's the CEO, the CTO, the CFO. He's the supreme I done told you. He's the mayor of Sassy City. He's the commander of couch cushion maintenance in the islands. He's known as King Kamehameha, folks. Brandon from Rise of Riches.
The legend. Oh, wow.
What's up, guys?
Awesome. What's up, Brando? Good to see you, buddy.
So good to see you here, man.
How we doing, man? I mean, some fun stuff this morning, yeah?
Yeah, a lot going on, man.
Yeah.
I even had to put the glasses on for you this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my Ophir crypto glasses as well. I think I need to do that as well. They're even colored for you.
I feel left out, guys.
Yeah.
No,
so Brandon, you've been listening to this. Any encouragement for John? And tell us about your excitement or what your thoughts are.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about the whole time, it's like, you know, the blockchain shouldn't be something that just certain people from certain parts of the world have access to. Okay, this is a permissionless thing, which means you don't have to ask permission to participate. And the thing that I like about this contract and the thing I like about the way that we're doing things is this actually actively pushes back against all the bad things that are happening in the world right now. And, you know, one of the primary ways we talk about like centralization all the time, it's a detriment to liberty, right? So what we're doing right now is we are unlocking generosity from all over the world. and we are also unlocking communities to be able to have a hedge to push back and not to have to rely on centralization to survive. And I think that's so important, and I hope that more and more people get turned on to that idea, because it's so important, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So John, I was going to say to you before Brandon came in. So you said you're speaking in Tagalog, is that right?
Tagalog. That's right. Filipino.
Tagalog.
You can
Okay.
just say Filipino.
Filipino. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you share about for our Filipino friends? Will you share about
Oh,
Ophir
absolutely.
in Filipino?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, mga sir, iniimbita po namin kayo na sumali po dito sa aming movement po na ito. At itong crypto na ito po ay talagang magiging blessing po sa inyo sa paningin ko. Tsaka ang mga kasama natin po dito ay talagang itong mga to ay ang mga puso po nila ay talagang nakadirekta po sa parang gusto talaga nilang makatulong. Yan talaga po ang layunin nila. At ang teknolohiya po na ito ay naniniwala po talaga kami na um, uh, okay, I ran out of that it's revolutionary. So ano po, subaybayan niyo po ang ang community po namin. Ayan nga, binigay na nga nila yung mga links. At kung kayo po ay may simbahan po, yan po talaga ang yan, ipamimigay po namin ito sa maraming mga simbahan. At naniniwala po kami na magiging malaking blessing po ito sa ating bansa at sa buong mundo. So maraming salamat po.
Awesome.
There
Dude,
you
that's
go.
you know what? When I hear that and don't understand a lick of it, it reminds me though of, I mean, I think about unity, right? We have separations of space and time, and we have separation of languages and such, but the
Mhm.
hearts of the people coming together around something like Brandon said, decentralized, something that is, censorship resistance. You don't, and permissionless, Brandon. I think that term is exactly right on. The fact that you don't have to have
Yeah.
permission from some authority and some government. And if you think about this is a movement of the people. When people, I believe, understand the power of DeFi and the beauty of the blockchain in its decentralized nature and permissionlessness, what it does is it empowers people. And so I want to speak directly to, and of course, my background's in fundraising. So I like to put the screws to people and put the pressure on them. And here's what I'm going to say. You may be somebody that does not live in the Philippines, or maybe you do. Here's a guy, John, a founder with a team of people who's traveling into remote parts of the Philippines to serve churches and to help them understand a future that's abundant. People have been living in scarcity for so long, and that's just what we're used to. So John shows up with his team, and he took a picture from a selfie from inside the van, and all these young people are there going into these churches, and these people literally, they walk into these remote churches and they're bawling. Why? Because for so long they felt alone. And this is one person coming, and anyone that comes in love to people is going to bless them. But here they're coming, they're saying, hey, we want to bring gifts. So here's the cool thing. When you donate to Gem Effect, when you donate to this project, dollars and crypto endowment that will be locked in a stake. So it's not like token distribution that's happening from Ophir is going to just be thrown to churches who are poor and they're going to dump on your heads. No. We're teaching them and giving to them an actual staked endowment. And that staked endowment has to be held. And so we're investing by giving into these churches. And so here's the thing I see it as, and Brandon, I want your commentary on this. People across the world, if they care about poverty, if they care about the local church, if they care about unity, if they care about unlocking generosity and resources and contributing to pushing back on authoritarianism, this is an opportunity for you to invest in the people of the Philippines. What say you, Brandon?
Yeah, you're investing in the people, but this isn't just let's invest this money and then let's pray that it goes to the right place. People have a share in this, and not only do people have a share in this, you now have a share in this.
Yes.
All right. So that's what's important about that. So everybody has incentive to make this thing better, to talk about it. All the people in the Philippines have incentive to talk about it to their neighbors and their friends because it's such an important thing for these folks. And I think one of the stats that you told me from the start, John, I think this was you, but we were talking about the top 0.01% of income earners in the Philippines. You know, in the States, the top 0.01% earn about 20 million. In the Philippines, the top 0.1% earn 200,000. And that's a huge difference between the two. So imagine if you can have access to a global market, and you know this $200-300 or $1,000 that somebody puts in to Ophir has a major impact on somebody that might be holding a certain amount of shares of Ophir. It's just a beautiful thing, very beautiful, borderless, limitless, and permissionless, and it's wonderful.
And the network, guys. I mean, this is what has just been blowing my mind. It's not easy to get into churches talking about crypto. Many of these guys have been scarred in the past, and many are
Mhm.
very conservative. And so that's part of the reason why I'm convinced this is really the hand of the Lord, because He established that trust even before there was crypto. You know, between me and Chairman Roy and other individuals who had inroads, right? And so that now the reception that we are gaining, even before they really understand it, just the reception, the trust that's established, that's there, the doors that are opening, right? I mean, it's really amazing. And so I mean, imagine what you can do with it, because it is about the people, the network of people, right? It's the community at the end of the day, which is what you repeat over and over again. And this is a massive community who are out there to serve, right? And they're gonna get started with crypto, right? That's one of the things that really excites me. They're gonna skip over all the, all the stuff that I had to go through, and and they get it, right? You talk to them about having a longer time frame, right? And even decentralization, right? It resonates with them because they understand that it is centralization that's been the problem in the first place,
Yep.
that has caused them to, these are smart people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
You know?
and when you that's what grace looks like, right? It's juxtaposed against scarcity. When you see abundance, it's almost like it's unbelievable, and you're like cautious because you're like things normally aren't like this, and here you're bringing something, you're bearing gifts. You're
Mhm.
like the wise men. But Brandon, I wanted to ask you about this. You know, we talk about in Texan, right? So Texas independence, we came alongside the Texas nationalist movement. John's coming alongside in Gem Effect. These are donations directly to a nonprofit, a registered nonprofit organization in their respective countries. Here's the thing I want to say. We talk about, hey, Texan isn't for everyone. And, you think about political outcomes, you might see the cryptocurrency and its tokenomics is valuable to you. You might like the tokenomics. But there's a lot of people that politics is polarizing. What I see with Ophir, and I want your comments on this. I see with Ophir is if you care about people that are living in poverty, if you care about the local church, if you care about finding ways that are completely different and counterintuitive of how to rise and lift people potentially out of poverty by and through agreement. How powerful is that, and how different is it from Texan, Brandon?
Yeah. So the first comment that I want to make before I get into that is, Matt, John, tell me, is this what we're doing right now? Is this what adoption looks like? Is this what adoption looks like for cryptocurrency?
Amen, brother.
Is
Yeah,
this what adoption looks like for Pulse Chain? Is this what it's
exactly.
going out to communities that don't have access? There we go. Don't
There you
have
go.
access to
Gotta get too
cryptocurrency.
excited.
But guys, this is what it's all
Yeah,
about here.
exactly.
This is the definition of adoption.
Yep.
Now, Matt, to answer your question, I know that there are people out there that do not feel comfortable with Texan token for what it represents. I feel very comfortable with it because I understand, I think, from a very broad perspective, going all the way in the past and reaching all the way into the future, what that means. If you don't feel comfortable with that, Ophir could also provide you a different way to contribute and really push back or just help folks from the Philippines. And as you get to know John more, he's going to tell you more stories. There's going to be pictures. There's going to be media. You're going to get an idea of what's happening out there. And this is going to be just a golden opportunity for you to be able to contribute and help these people. And also, I'm very excited, John, about the network effect in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because if there's
Hey,
one thing
yes.
I've learned through this whole process, everybody in the Philippines is like family, man.
Yeah.
And things spread like wildfire down there.
Absolutely. There's even articles. I don't know if it's formal research that's been done on this, but I've definitely come across stuff where people have said that Filipinos are behind the popularity of like K-dramas and like Gangnam Style and like because there's this viral factor. And when it comes
Right.
to the networks, I mean, we were the texting capital of. I think we still are the texting capital of the world. We were first on, like Facebook, on MySpace. There was Friendster. There was Multiply.
Yeah.
There were other things even before that. So Filipinos, there really is that like network effect on steroids kind of thing going on with Filipinos. Absolutely. And so many of them are abroad, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like 10%, I think, is the stat of the population works abroad. We have the most people on ships, apparently. So this resonate with you, Brandon, being in the Navy and
Yeah.
stuff. Like literally, there's no other nationality. There's more people working on ships.
And I served with a lot of Filipinos in the Navy, United States Navy, because there's an agreement that we have with the Philippines for that reason.
Mhm.
Crypto penetration in the Philippines, I think, is the highest out of any other country in the world. It's sitting at, I think,
It's
about
up there.
15 or
Yeah.
17% crypto penetration of the population, which is very interesting too. Now, Matt, we wanted to talk about SLP, right?
Yes,
Yes.
dude, you read
That's
my mind.
huge. That's
Yes.
Dude,
huge.
Yes.
you're like the chocolate to my peanut butter.
Oh my God.
Although you're more like a spicy Cheeto, if you know what I
Ooh.
mean. But SLP, so let's talk about that. One of the
Yeah,
things that
that's
I learned in this process was that because of Axie Infinity, that the Philippines and Filipino people have the highest adoption behind the United States. They're number 2 in adoption of MetaMask, and that's huge, right? That's huge. So it's not like we're going, you think, well, it's just a remote place and nobody's got anything technical. Not true. Will you talk about Axie and why we've chosen to use, what is it, the smooth
Well,
love potion?
Yeah,
Something
smooth
like
love potion. Well, let me tell you a story.
Yeah,
Well,
please.
okay, the smooth love potion token is what Axie Infinity players, or they call them scholars, earn, right, through playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's the story, right? One of these churches that we visited, which was actually the one that I had in mind when I was saying that some churches were the size of this room I'm in, right? So I'm in this church, right? They need a roof. They're again, the stories of how they receive tithes and fruits, and then there's this one kid who comes in, right? He's like, I don't know, must be like 18 or something, or so just it doesn't really speak very much. He's in his slippers, and he's like, he's serving us, some water and stuff, and I didn't think anything of it, and then we start talking, about what we're doing, and I find out the guy plays Axie Infinity, right? And he's a good player. Not just that, he's risen to the ranks now. He's one of our top community managers, right? I mean, the guy's name is Joshua. The guy is like sharp as anything, and is like, you should see his posts, right? All the Richard Hart stuff, all the, like, he's caught on. And so there are these types, like, all littered all around the country, right? When we were so when I invested in Axie Infinity, because I actually went I had some teams, right? I had some scholars, and I was supporting some scholars. When I met with them, at one point we had like 200 scholars, right? I met with them via Zoom, and it was amazing.
What is a scholar, John? What's a
I'm
scholar?
sorry, a scholar is a player. It is
Okay.
a player.
Got it.
Yeah, they refer to them as scholars because there's this, the way that it works is they've come up with an arrangement where an investor will basically purchase the in-game characters and loan them out to the scholars. So the scholars
Okay.
will play. That's why they're called
Got it.
scholars. Right? So they play, and then they share the the profits, in which come in SLP. And so meeting with these scholars that we were supporting, many of them were from really remote areas within, you know what a nipa hut is? So like with these like what is that in English? These like shabby wooden,
Yeah, sure.
cottages kind
Yep.
of thing, right? But they're Axie players and they're good, right? And so so that's tremendously exciting, and to know that that they can be given this opportunity as well, right? And so here's something else. I was just talking with given the massive network that we have, it's also it's massive leverage as well, and many groups want to are knocking at our door,
Yeah.
right, to partner with us. So I met with someone from YGG, the biggest gaming guild in the world, yesterday, to partner with them for education. I'm meeting with Binance very soon as well. So I mean, these are the kinds of doors that are starting to open.
Wow.
So yeah, very exciting stuff, man.
Well, I want to share. We've updated things since our last chat here. We've got Ryan in the background just taking care of business. But folks, as you look at
Oh wow,
donating,
that was
yeah,
quick.
yeah, he's on the ball. So, folks, if you go to the donate button, which is at the top of ophircrypto.com, and you click on donate, you're going to end up on this page. And so, what you're going to see is the detail about where donations are going to, what loyalty points look like, and what is accepted. So ETH, USDC, USDT, Hex, SLP, and Texan are the things that you will get credit for as far as loyalty points are concerned. This is the official wallet address. It will also be posted after this on my Twitter, Brandon's Twitter, as well as John's Twitter, so you'll know that you can verify that you're looking at the right donation address. I want to also, so you can find that at that donate button. I want to also talk about airdrop in general. So donation phase is obviously to do token distribution. The money's going to Gem Effect. Well, one of the things Brandon said right at the beginning was because of the disparity as far as wealth, $100 to you in the, let's say, the United States or Western world is different. $100 in a remote part of the Philippines goes a long way, and it's very different. And see, that's what's so you want to talk about having impact. John literally with the team and Chairman Roy and all these people are going to go in and they're bearing gifts, folks. This isn't just, think about what Gem Effect does. They are operating on very little resources. And in my opinion, there's going to be a tremendous amount of donations going to Gem Effect. John's going to literally be walking into these churches and sharing with this network of churches not only the gift of Ophir in an endowment. Think about this. You're taking these churches and giving them an endowment, which is something that only most sophisticated organizations have. So that's number one. Number two, they're actually going to be bringing money and resources to those churches.
Yep.
And that's what's so cool is when you're giving, you're not giving to John, you're giving to an organization that serves these people. And this is the people that are on the ground that don't have a roof. And to me, I mean, I love Texan, but dude, I'm going to tell you what, I think I have a new favorite, and that is Ophir, because of the fact that this is where the rubber meets the road. And you want to make a difference in people's lives. I did a brief poll in the Compassion Cartel, and I said, hey, what are the things you care about? And poverty was number one out of everyone. And, that's what is so amazing is that when you don't realize the cycle that you get into when you're just hand to mouth. And when you see these type of things, this is a contribution. But think about this. This is just the starting of a fire. And to me, there's something really powerful in your name, John. Firestarter 88. What is he doing? He is starting fires across the Philippines, setting the people's hearts aflame. And this is really in the name of the Lord, right? And what comes from that is people, I think, across the world investing in the people of the Philippines and recognizing you're not investing in the government of the Philippines, the central bank of the Philippines. No, the people in agreement together. And to me, that's such a powerful idea. And that's what we're doing as a team across the world, right? We want to tokenize communities. And what do we want in crypto? We want adoption. Why? Because I think if you're just a degen, you want the number to go up. These are the things you have to do in order to get adoption, but they have to be rooted in core stories and desires that people have to unify in trust and have hope again. Because I think one of the things that's so damaging about the scarce world we live in is that people are just wanting to step on other people's heads to get ahead. And this is different. And to me, this is how you unlock generosity. You go and you give. And so John is literally going to go and give. That's our job. But if you're somebody that's in Axie Infinity, and we look at what the airdrop looks like, Brandon, will you kind of outline what we're thinking as far as the airdrops are concerned to the community? And this is not set in stone yet. We'll have more information on it, but the general consensus that we have right now, Brandon.
Yeah, so one of the things that with the SLP, and that's kind of like the native token for Axie, we want to identify those wallet holders that have Axie Infinity in the Philippines, and then we want to airdrop them Ophir. So, I'm not going to get into details about that. But the other thing that we want to also outline is if you have a Texan stake, and I'll just give a little bit of detail here, and you've staked that Texan stake out for a year, you would be eligible to receive Ophir. So that's going to be a pretty cool thing here too. I wanted to point that out. So again, if you have a Texan stake of at least a year, you will be eligible to receive Ophir, and there will be probably additional perks and benefits that we will talk about and kind of bring to the spotlight here. But that's it's really exciting times, man, and I'm really excited to see once people start hearing that the Axie Infinity, the SLP that they own in their wallets is going to be married and tied back to Ophir. I'm interested to see how that works out. I think a lot of people are going to get excited, especially John, if you've got the right players involved, they'll get the word out. They'll get the message out.
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Taryn, I just want to say it does not need to exist at this moment. So but it has to be.
There will be a deadline. There will be a deadline, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, will you share some more what you're thinking about with the scholars and with airdrops, what you're generally thinking? And of course, these things are subject to change because we're just in donation phase right now. But what are you thinking as far as those Axie scholars?
Yeah. So two things. So Axie scholars in general, right? We want to do an airdrop, and we're looking at putting a button on our website for anyone who is a scholar that they can click through that, fill up a form, give us their wallet address, and that would be one way. The other is precisely through YGG, who has a massive number of scholars within their guild, and so through that direct partnership, they can actually facilitate that. And we're thinking of giving a multiplier to the YGG scholars for that partnership. But that's just like you said, right? This is stuff that we're exploring, we're talking through.
Well, yeah. And it's just smart, by the way. I mean, I'm sure if you understand crypto and you understand adoption, you want to put in the hands of those people. I mean, look at Richard Hart. He gave Hex to Bitcoin holders, and airdrops are absolutely critical. What we found, and Brandon, what have we found with the folks that have accepted the free claim of Texan? I mean, what have we seen?
So, we thought that a majority of the people who would be dumping Texan initially would be the people who received that no value airdrop, which was, a million, for example. What we kind of saw was the much, much, much bigger folks are the ones that created most of the sell pressure initially for Texan. So what we're seeing is, Matt, I would say 95% or maybe even more, 95% of the people who got that free claim in the airdrop have actually held Texan, and they have not sold it off. So we're sitting at 20,000 wallets, of which 4,000, I think we broke 4,000 a day or two ago, 4,000 are staked. It's absolutely, absolutely amazing in my opinion. And I think that's only going to go up as we learn about Texan. And then Ophir, the same type of situation here. It's the same contract. And it's just, it's a really, really cool way to lock value and to have people that understand the importance of, delaying gratification.
Yep.
And can I just say as well about these, about spurring adoption for these Axie Infinity scholars or players? I mean, these guys are innovators, right? I mean, they've found a way right? This is, and when did it all this shoot up? It was through the pandemic, right? They found a solution. I mean, they were supporting their families, right, by playing Axie Infinity. And so, I mean, say what you will about, you know, video games, but the fact of the matter is that you know, these guys found a creative solution, and they're, you know, I think that they're the kinds of people also who we would want on board our
Yeah.
community.
Absolutely. And think about this for those in crypto who don't understand about play to earn. Play to earn is becoming really popular. If you look at the investments that have been
It's not
made
going
in,
away, man.
yeah, not at all. And if you look at crypto gaming in general, what is the point? You're tying, and this is loosely kind of metaverse stuff in the sense that I can be in a digital realm and I can earn more than I would if I was working,
Yep.
you know, in my community. And to see that happen, you know, so play to earn as a component, I think it's a really powerful thing, because what it does is it says, hold on, I can be anywhere in the world as long as I've got an internet connection, and there is something that I can do. Now, it's debatable whether there's value to breeding online critters or not. However, I think what's powerful is it's not going away. It drives adoption, and the people that understand, hold on, there's value here. You know, that's this audience, and that's what's so cool about it. It's not like, you know, we talk about, you know, abject poverty in some parts of the Philippines. It's a really bizarre juxtaposition. They have internet connectivity, understand things, have a high rate of adoption of MetaMask because of Axie Infinity. This is a whole new audience. So those of you that have been listening to Brandon and I talk about tokenizing communities, folks, we've thought through this, and we will continue to do that, because at the end of the day, it only has value if in fact the people decree it and they agree on it. But that's what sets the captives free, in my opinion, is imagine around the world. This is just step number 2 for us. Texan was 1, Ophir is 2. There's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6. There's going to be a DEX on Ethereum, and there's going to be an incentive token. Because what do we want to do? We want to promote people to buy and hold. So if you hold a max stake length of Texan or Ophir, you're going to be able to, every 30 days, come back and get the unifier token. That means you'll have something that you can sell instead of the native token. It gives a benefit to Ophir that they don't have as much sell pressure. And you know that the DEX itself is going to be buying, all it's going to be buying is the unifier token, buying it and burning it. And so you have constant buy pressure from a DEX, very similar to how Pulse X on Pulse Chain will work. And so, folks, we're not just piddling around here. This is not just, oh, hey, we know this guy John, maybe he wants to do his own crypto. No, this is well thought out, and this is really comes from the core essence of a calling of unlocking generosity by giving. And John, the reason I just love you so much, dude, is the fact that you are a pure advocate for people and the truth. And I'm just so excited about what is happening, not only for you personally and the redemptive story of your own life. And I just imagine your mom watching this. And I think about, you know, as a dad, you know, I just imagine watching and thinking, she knows everything that you've gone through. And to hear you praising the Lord and doing something that advocates for people across your country, to me, has got to be like, it would make me just bawl my eyes out seeing my son do that. And so I just want to encourage you and just say, you know, we're completely behind you, but this is a way bigger story than the Philippines or Texas. This is a story that I believe that God is doing to give us a gift that we animate with the power of the Lord in what he has created us to do. And we get to do what he did. We're going to speak it into existence in community and love for one another. That's what we're doing here. And if you catch that, folks, if you understand what's going on here, you're going to understand you want to be a part of this ecosystem. And this is the next step, which is giving to Gem Effect so that we can help support folks in the Philippines. So last thoughts, any comments, anything we missed out, anybody?
Just John, congratulations, man. This is the first day of the rest of your life here. So
We're throwing him in the deep end.
Yeah, but that's the way you learn. So here's the thing. I'm really excited too. I'm excited about Pulse Chain, man. I'm excited about
absolutely, man.
Yeah, these projects, these people being introduced for the first time in their crypto career to Pulse Chain.
Yeah, and if you don't, and that's something that's important, folks. Let's say the Pulse Chain launches before Ophir goes live. We will we will launch on the Pulse chain as well. So
Mhm.
in one scenario, we would launch prior and we'd get the copy. But I want to make sure everyone knows that whether or not it comes out before, we will be supporting 2 chains with Ophir,
Mhm.
Ethereum and Pulse chain.
Awesome.
Dude, that Pulse chain, like spreading across the Philippines, no one here knows about Pulse chain.
No, it's awesome.
No one does. Hardly anyone does. And when they realize, man, I mean, that's gonna spread like wildfire, really. And
Yeah.
that excites me to no end as well.
Yeah.
There's a good question in the chat here. I just want to bring up. Taryn's got some great stuff here. Is there some amount of initial liquidity, Ophir, that's promised to be locked up? Yeah. So when you look at, and Brandon knows this really well, the key to value in crypto is liquidity. And so the relationships that John has, the relationships that we have folks that are earmarked for liquidity providing. One of the things I want Brandon to share about this is there's a strategy to liquidity. A lot of people, especially at the beginning of crypto, want you to have millions and millions of dollars of locked up liquidity. And I understand that because in the past, what is a rug pull but pulling of liquidity? And, that's something that you're like, hey, if we're going to have confidence in something, we want to know that there's liquidity locked. But we also recognize that at the beginning, there are people that front run you. There are people who take advantage of you based on, thick liquidity at the beginning. And there's a strategy to that. Brandon, will you share that strategy of liquidity providing?
Well, here's the thing. And if, Matt and I aren't going to be the ones providing liquidity and John won't be providing liquidity, but if they were, this is what's important. You see these people, they come into your chat or they hit you up on Twitter and you share the information about your project. And the first thing that they ask is about, locked liquidity. And they said, oh, well, this project founder locked his liquidity for 200 years, $1 million, and this and that. Well, guess what? The reason that most of crypto likes locked liquidity at the beginning of a project so much is because it's guaranteed profit and dumping for them.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
So what's the opposite side of this? The opposite side of this is if you have low liquidity, it's actually going to disincentivize people to dump on your head because they're going to get chopped up, chewed up, and spit out in terms of slippage. And also, if they have big bags, they want to get completely out. They're not going to be able to just market sell in one fell swoop. So in my opinion, and I think this is very well illustrated with Texan, in my opinion, liquidity should be very low to start and should grow naturally and organically.
Yep.
So it's not like there's going to be, $500,000 of liquidity in this thing. It's going to grow naturally, just like Texan, I think.
Yeah.
If I were the person to make that decision.
Well, and I think it's smart to do that, but what it comes down to, and it's frustrating, I think, for some people, right? I think the old school crypto folks are like, no, you got to lock this up. And here's the thing, it comes down to trust, and that's the hard part. Is that we have a team that's rooted in the first principles of crypto. We have this narrative in the story. Brandon and I, especially, just our commitment to not only creating content, but what we've been doing and what with Texan. Here's the thing. We have zero incentive to not make this successful. And the way in which you don't make it successful is to rug pull liquidity. And because we're not providing it, we've got partners who are. Our recommendation is that you don't put up thick liquidity because of the fact that there are those that want to take advantage of it. So I just want to point that out. The other thing is I just want to say shout out to Kinetics. Kinetics is here giving you his support, John. And I think that's really big to have a guy like Kinetics who's
absolutely, man. I'm a bit starstruck, but yeah.
Yeah. So
with all you guys, I'm really starstruck, man. I have been from the beginning, so I still can't believe that it's happening.
It's a facade. It's a facade. And with that, I want to point out something that makes sense because Kinetics was a big supporter of Texan as well, and just been a great encourager of Brandon and I as well, and now you, John. But I want to talk about the referral program. I failed to mention that. So I want to put this up here. So folks, there is a referral program, and it's really designed for people in the Philippines. And so if you look at the website and you go to the drop-down menus, what you're going to see at the bottom of the About section is the referral program. And in the referral program, you have this ability to connect your wallet. this is the donation phase for GemEffect is only crypto. There's no fiat. So unlike Texan, where there's an organization where you could give, US dollars in credit card, for example, that's not the case for Ophir. It's just crypto. But if you want to receive, credit by recommending to people, the details about how to get your actual referral code for the wallet that you want to choose. You actually connect your wallet, it puts it into the database. The details of this, which you can read more about on this site, is if any referral you donate at least $100, you'll both earn 5% loyalty point bonus. And so there's information about getting a new wallet, which Brandon has done, and then there's a connect wallet function on this page. So if you're somebody who wants to share with others and you want to receive that credit, you and the person who donates has to do at least $100 equivalent in crypto, and you would both receive a 5% loyalty bonus. And so this is just to incentivize sharing with others. Any comments about that?
Pretty straightforward. Love it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So wanted to make that clear. What else do you want to share before we drop off of here, John?
I'm just really grateful that from the very onset, this was I just firmly believe that the Lord's hand is on this. This was dedicated from the very beginning to Him and laid down before Him. And so, at the end of the day, we're, as you guys have said many times, we're just humble servants here, just doing what we believe we've been purposed to do. And as we've laid it down, we've just seen mountains thrown into oceans, and bread being multiplied and made from scratch, and all these amazing miracles. And I'm just really pretty overwhelmed at how the Lord has come through and what's to come. And the idea of all of these communities around the world, right, through the unifier. This is just so big. And knowing that we have the opportunity to bring in these people from these remote places, these people who are in hopeless situations, who, like I shared with you, these stories of pastors who felt all alone, and they're going to be able to come in to a community like this, right? That is, it's not even just the Philippines. It's massive. It's of biblical proportions, right? It's just, that just excites me to no end. And I'm just so grateful to you guys, man, really, for the hard work that you've put in, for your dedication, for your hearts, the both of you, really, and being such people of integrity and your word, right? Just having such a zeal to make sure that those that you espouse those principles through and through.
Well, it's amazing when incentives are all aligned, and I think that's one of the things that's incredible is this idea of when you consider others in addition to yourself. You don't have to forget yourself. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm nothing. No, you have to consider others in addition to yourself. And I think when things are properly aligned, and when you see that people can take ownership, and you're giving gifts to people to say, hey, we want you to be a part of this with us. And we know as well, like, let's make it really, really straightforward and simple. All we're doing is putting software up on the blockchain. That's it. That's all we're doing. And at the end of the day, it's this story, and it's your giving, and it's your active giving that unlocks other people's giving, because you are going and taking your time and effort and giving a portion of yourself to these local churches. Some people might say, hey, all right, this seems like it's got good adoption. I think I'll take a flyer on this in crypto, and that's just a straight crypto investor. All the way down to somebody who goes, I've been praying for an opportunity to serve people that are in poverty or challenge, or I really care about the Filipino people. There's a huge gradient of why somebody would be a part of something like this. But to me, by giving, we unlock, right? We unlock the resources by giving. Brandon, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to all of the Filipinos here in the chat. They've been absolutely amazing this entire time. Super exciting, super excited. So thank you guys for just bringing a different level of energy to this stream than what we're used to.
Oh, wow.
And also a really, really big shout out also to our admins, because they've done an incredible job, kind of getting some folks up to speed as well, because there's a really, really steep learning curve. And I just have a big shout out to, David Lee and Samantha and Steve, and just, Katie and everybody in chat. Thank you guys so much for that. Awesome, 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 exciting as well. And guys, mind you, we just made this announcement. There's going to be a lot more information coming out. There's going to be, somebody mentioned there needs to be more videos on the website. Don't worry about any of that. This is going to go pretty much the exact same ways as the Texan donation phase went and the launch, and more information will come out, more streams, all that.
Yeah, and I'd encourage you to go to the team page, and you can click on the YouTube link for John and subscribe to his channel, because he's going to be sharing. He's the horse's mouth, folks, and so he's going to start streaming a lot. You need to be following him if you want to know more, as well as get into the Telegram. That's really the number one place. You want to know what's going on, ask questions there. And here's the thing, folks. This is a refining process, and the community works together. This is not there's no centralized organization. There's no business. There's no marketing department. This is true DeFi. People coming together and volunteering their time to give in order to receive later, right? That's the key. I'm going to finish up with a bit of a bit of something I just want to share, because it touches me, and I just want to kind of wrap up with this.
Well, you're opening that
Yep.
up, man. Yeah, because I also really want to give a shout out to the guys on our end, and all the hard work that they've been doing. Doc Vince and Eli and TJ and Pastor Roy and all the volunteers from the churches. I mean, the hard work that they've been putting in, and how they're just so committed to the vision as well. You guys are absolute stars, man. Apple. I didn't have the comments turned on, man. All these times I was like totally focused on. My gosh, there's so many.
There's
I just
so
switched
many.
over now. Like, I feel like a total dunce.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's good. It's awesome. Hey, will you pronounce this for me here at the top?
Makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa.
Wow. Okay, so check this out, folks. This is inspiring to me. You may not be somebody that is a Christian. You may not be somebody that is a person of faith. But I think it's important to understand our heritage. We talk about Ophir as it is the gold of Ophir. Ophir is where Solomon, way back, sourced the best gold to build the temple. And these are part of the origins and what are the roots of this gold. Well, what is gold? But it's something that is precious, it's rare. But it's a theme for something that's already in our hearts. And in my opinion, and I think a lot of Christian people across the world will recognize the fact that, hey, this world has been corrupted, and there's one that's lurking around trying to devour us. But we are told and promised that this is a place that has been made for us, and we've been given abundance if we will work together and love one another. And what is amazing to me is the origins and the motto of the Philippines, because to some people in the West, this is a foreign thing because they're so secular. But if you look at the actual origins of the motto of the Philippines, right? For God, number one, for people, for nature, for country, for the love of God, people, nature, and country. That's the core. So you look at what's happening here. You may not be connected to these origin stories. We invite you into this story because we believe that together, by agreeing together, we unlock and mine gold in the hearts of people rather than in the ground and in the dirt and from the sweat of our brow. We have an opportunity together to literally agree. And because value is created between parties in agreement, fiat is by decree, we have the ability to define what we consider valuable. And in my opinion, in this world, whether it's Texan or Ophir or other things, this is a movement in the world through DeFi that frees the captives from consumer and debt slavery, that transforms things. And to me, this is a gift. This is an actual solution to the problem of scarcity. It pushes back on authoritarians. It pushes back on globalists. It is a solution. but it's only a solution if we agree that it's a solution. And that's where movements are big. And so to me, all of the right components are aligned. John leading this with a heart for and an advocacy for the truth and for the people who are in or who are struggling. There's nothing greater in alignment, in my opinion, and it's evidence personally that if God be for us, who could be against us? And so if this resonates with you, I encourage you to give to GemEffect through this project. You'll receive loyalty points, 10,000 to 1. It's in crypto. You can go to the donate button at the top of the page at ophircrypto.com. And folks, I'll tell you, this is special. It's very special, and it has captured my heart from the very beginning. And it's really because of you, John, and your story and the miracles that I've seen over the last year with you personally. And so I'm excited to walk this journey with you. And then it's awesome to have a wingman like Brandon, right? And everybody needs a gentle ginger giant genius because, dude, I'm going to tell you, he's the guy behind you that's the operator. He's got his ears like Liberty's moving. He watches out for us. He's everyone's big brother. Brandon, thanks for joining the stream. Brandon, appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, I want to just I missed two people that I want to shout out to that's been very important. Robert, thank you so much for all your help, and also Ethernautical, thank you guys so much for your help. I didn't want to miss you.
Yeah, absolutely. John, last words from you, my friend.
Guys, join the movement. I mean, something amazing is happening here. I think that we'll all look back on this and be amazed and in awe at that we were given the privilege of taking part in what's happening, through Texan, through Ophir, through Unifier, and through this movement. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right, awesome. Folks, make sure that you take a look and do your own research. None of this is financial advice. We're giving a gift of a software, zeros and ones on the blockchain, but it's tied to an amazing cause. And so I encourage you, check out ophircrypto.com and learn about it. That's it. It's not for everyone, right? But we're excited that there will be many, many people that will benefit. So, John, thanks for your heart for everyone. Brandon, thanks for your protection of all of us. And folks, take care of yourselves and do not mess with the Philippines. Take care, everybody.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was cool. That was awesome. We turn volume down just a little bit, and we'll go back to main here, and I'll have to probably turn my camera on. But that's okay. No, popped up. Okay, cool. We're live. We are live here. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Ophir announcement. Matt and I are very excited about that. Here's kind of my takes. I got to, we did that this morning. This was a replay. Hex Monkey says, seeing double, 2 gingers are better than 1. I mean, of course. I mean, we're rare anyway. We're like almost extinct. So that's a pretty cool situation. Test. There it is. Okay, cool. So, guys, this is important to understand. This is, I've said this before, the panacea of onboarding is going to existing communities that have existed outside of crypto, that are already networked, that already have infrastructure, going to these communities and giving them the gift of the blockchain. If you want to talk about, if you're the type of person that looks through the world in terms of a filter of inequality, well, let me just appeal to you right now. Do you think that there is massive inequality when Westerners have a huge monopoly on the blockchain? What if you're able to reach out to these communities, give them the gift, and then they take it and they run with it? There's so many more people out there than just Westerners. And there's so many more people out there that can benefit from the advantages of the blockchain. Okay? Now, if you want to look at this from kind of a selfish lens, you can also say, wow, Ophir, for example, these are people in the Philippines that are very, very familiar with cryptocurrency. They are not familiar with Pulse Chain whatsoever. And we have now officially, starting today, started the donation phase for Ophir. Now, this donation phase is going to be towards a community that has absolutely no connection whatsoever to our ecosystem. You know, we are not targeting hexagons. We are not targeting anybody. We are targeting people who we think can benefit massively that are not already massively in cryptocurrency. Or if they are, we're introducing them to our world. And here's the neat thing with all of these people that are about to pour into Ophir. And make no mistake, guys, I don't think that Matt and I are trying to hard sell you on the network effect in Ophir when you look at what happened with Axie Infinity. These people, you can go back in history with a bunch of different instances here. You could go back in history and you could see how well connected they are. They really are a family on that island nation. A massive family, and word spreads very, very quickly. The thing that they're suffering from most right now with regards to crypto, they feel like they've been absolutely scammed and screwed by another project down there. And we're looking to launch Ophir to help regain their trust, because this type of crypto they have never seen before. They haven't seen the trustless. They haven't seen the permissionless. They haven't seen the immutable. They haven't seen the no admin key type thing. And what's really neat is by you donating to Gem Effect, okay, so that's this donation phase, at least 60 days, they're going to create an endowment out of that money. That's what they are going to do. Not Matt, not myself. We're just the conduits. We gave them this contract on the silver platter, and they're going to run with it. They are their own community. And that's the beauty about what we're doing right now. Very, very, very exciting. And I hope now that we have our second project out and it becomes a reality, because until you actually do it, it doesn't become a reality in people's heads. And I will know it's a reality in people's heads by the amount of FUD that I start receiving within the next day or two, as the storylines and the narratives shift around in Telegram and in the deep, dark trenches of Reddit and text messages and all that. It's going to come to light. I know it's going to be real to them, but here's the neat thing. Now people are going to start to see. They're going to be like, wait a minute. Crypto Heartbeat, he's not a crazy guy. Rags Riches, he's not a crazy guy. All these people who supported them, not crazy people. Wait, they have something here. Oh, wait. Freedom Swap, Unifier Token, unify all these projects together. Maybe they're not that stupid anymore. Maybe people will look at us and take us seriously, because what we are doing is going to seriously impact the world. Seriously impact the world. We are unapologetic about that. Unapologetic. So very, very excited here. Very excited to see this little family that we've built, this little niche that we've built, grow and grow and grow. You know, eventually little seeds turn into oak trees. And that's what's going to happen here. And that's going to happen regardless of whether or not people like it. It's going to happen, and it's going to help a massive amount of people. I'm excited to give the gift of the blockchain to the whole world. So, immutable, yep. What are the links here? www.ophircrypto.com. The Telegram is t.me/OphirCrypto. This is not run by us. We do have, you know, we're kind of in there to help them along, because there's a learning curve when it comes to building community and stuff. They've had this Telegram established for a while. I think they probably have like 300 or 400 people in there now. But this is not going to be run by Matt and I. It's not going to be run by our admins. You'll see us in there. This is run by their team. This is their own thing, guys. And they're going to be talking to their whole country about this. All right? But this is important too. If you want to be a part of building this, regardless of whether or not you want to take part in Ophir, go in there and just be a part of the conversation. Help these people out. Okay? Help these people out. If there's questions in there that you think you could answer, go answer them. All right? They're going to be a part of the Pulse Chain ecosystem. Are we going to welcome them with open arms? Or is the first type of thing that they see, is it going to be massive FUD from a very small vocal minority of people? You know? So if you want to be a part of the solution, join in there. All right? And be the connective tissue between those folks in Texan, those folks in Pulse Chain, those folks in Hex. They're going to be a part of Hex now, guys. There's nothing anybody can do about it. And that's a net positive for everybody. But more importantly, we're of like mind and equal yoke. We think the same about the world. And that's one of the reasons we choose the communities that we do. Very, very important. All right. I'm going to ask, if you guys have questions, let me know. I'm going to go through here and check. Big shout out again to Hex Monkey, the man, the myth, the legend. You want to talk about somebody who supports freedom and independence? There's nobody probably that supports it more than Hex Monkey. He's one of a handful, an exclusive club that I know in my life. Thank you so much, brother. Caliber to Crypto, thanks for covering. John May in the house. What's up, John May? TexX says, wow, talk about bringing global communities together. Old Matt and Crazy Brandon. Old Matt and Crazy Brandon. They're old and crazy until they aren't. Well, Matt's going to stay old, but we might become uncrazy. And it's beautiful. It's awesome because we don't care. We just keep doing what we do. Is there a donation like Texan, or can I buy the tokens? Yeah. You can go to ophircrypto.com and let me actually pull this up. I'll pull it up for you so you can see. Ophircrypto.com. And let me make sure. Let me share this. Yeah. All right. We'll go at the top here. There's a link. And yeah, right up here. Right up here at the top, you can see my mouse. It says view of your contract. You can donate. So when you click the donate, it will come here. So you can donate USDC. You can donate USDT. You can donate Ethereum. You can donate Hex. You can donate SLP, or you can donate Texan. One big thing that you guys might not have caught here. It could be in your best interest to have a Hex or a Texan stake of 1 year or more. It could be in your best interest to have a Texan stake of 1 year or more. Hint, hint, wink, wink. SLP is pretty cool. This is the token that's used in Axie Infinity. So what we're going to do, we've targeted the Axie Infinity holders. And we are going to airdrop all Axie Infinity holders. So when these guys go across the Philippines and they go into a room and they say, how many people hold Axie Infinity in here? And they raise their hands. They're like, congratulations. Add this contract address and oh yeah, you have Ophir in your wallet. They're going to be like, what? Yeah, we airdropped you Ophir. We're the people who did it right here. Congratulations. At no cost. Pretty sweet, huh? That's going to be pretty neat. Awesome, awesome. So here is the contract address. So you can go to the Telegram or go to ophircrypto.com. All right. There will be sites that pop up that are going to be scam sites. Do not, under any circumstance, go to any other place other than ophircrypto.com/donate or the Ophir Telegram. Okay. Very important. There is no second, there's only one official. There are no subsidiaries. There are no satellites, no sister and brother chat rooms. And there is no other website other than this. ophircrypto.com/donate. People listening to this right now will get scammed. And I'm sorry, but if you can't listen to what I'm saying to you, you're in a world of hurt. All right, let's go back here. Terrafin says, hey, Samantha, good to see you. Just here trolling a Jinja. Terrafin. Immutable says, limited edition series of R2R, more elite. The Board 8 Yacht Club. Now, if you guys notice here in chat, yeah, there's some rags to riches apes. Man, old school. Old school. They might be worth something one day. You never know, man. They are traded openly on OpenSea. Openly on OpenSea. All right, let's go back through here. TexHex says, wow, y'all are creating something great. Thank you. Thank you, TexHex. Answered that. I'll answer it again. Is the Texan stake screenshot or snapshot been taken, or do we have time to stake? You have time to stake. It could be beneficial to have a Texan stake of greater than 1 year. By the way, guys, we passed 4,000 stakers. 4,000 stakers very, very recently. And by the way, this isn't Matt and I inflating the staking numbers. We didn't go through and like stake, 50 Texan 1,000 times. That's completely organic, which is really, really neat. It will be launched on PLS and Ethereum. X-Force One, and I'll just say this for everybody else in chat. Hey, Brandon, I would like to know if there'd be an opportunity to be connected with families that need help to gift some of our Ophir coins to when it launches. Yes. Yeah, so this is awesome. This is what these folks are all about. Just go to the Ophir Telegram, and if I'll just send you to ophircrypto.com, and you'll be able to see all the Telegram links and the Twitter. The Twitter will be up soon. They did the same thing to Texan that they did to Ophir, and they locked down the Twitter initially, and then they opened it back up. So their Twitter will be back up soon, hopefully. Gunner Boat in the house, what is up? If you guys have questions, ask me now. Cody Lane, nice to see you. Late to the party, but excited to go back and listen to the beginning. Yep, you can donate Ethereum, and you will receive 10,000 to 1 loyalty points, which will be honored with a 1-to-1 airdrop of Ophir tokens. Nate Mintz in the house, an artist formerly known as Nate Stakes. Cool. Watching from Puerto Rico. Watching from Spain. All right, let me scroll back down here, see what y'all got for me. Nothing, I think we're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, ophircrypto.com for any information. If you've been here from the start, congratulations. We got a long way to go, but it's going to be a cool journey. Very excited. Mike Roth says 10,000 to 1, 10,000 Ophir to 1. It's okay. That's a good question. So there's a TWAP. Okay. So there's like a time weighted average. So when you donate and if you go to Etherscan, you could see this too. But if you donate your crypto at the time of donation, it's going to take the US dollar value at the time of donation. And it basically locks it in. It's an average within 30 minutes of what that price is. So it's going to lock that in, and that's what you will receive. So pretty cool there. Ozzy, what is up? Ozzy, if you got any questions, let us know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, my name is Rags to Riches. As always,
Rags to Riches. Do not like, comment, or subscribe.
ophircrypto.com, Rags out.
Thank you.